Hey guys, Aaron Cybertron Zhang here, and today I'm back with another episode of Road to Ranked, where I climb the online VGC 19 ladder and provide live commentary as I go. In the last episode, I mentioned that I'd be switching to a brand new team, and while I actually do have a brand new team that I've built personally, I wanted to try out this team that is definitely probably the hottest team around right now. This is the team that Justin Burns used to win the Philadelphia Regional Championships this past weekend, and it was created mainly by a player called Justin Crubaugh, also known as iMagikarp, who has been one of the top players in America in the more recent seasons, and him and Justin both used it at the Philadelphia Regional Championships. Justin Crubaugh ended up getting top 8, and then Justin Burns ended up winning the entire tournament. I'll link both of their Twitters in the description below, but Justin Crubaugh kindly offered to trade the team over for me to try it out, and it's definitely a really cool team. I think Yveltal is definitely one of the strongest Pokemon, and this is a team that supports it incredibly well. Obviously, you've got some really cool stuff as well in the non-restricted Pokemon, in Toxicroak and the Stakataka as well. So thank you to them for creating the team. Congratulations to both of them on such an incredible performance, and you guys will definitely be seeing more of them throughout the course of the season, so go check out their Twitters linked in the description below. I'm also thinking of doing some match analyses from some of the cooler games from that tournament, so if you guys are interested in that, definitely let me know in the comments below. The first 2 weeks were really hectic. Like, after 19 rules switched over, yeah, like obviously I did Road to Ranked, but I didn't have too much time to focus on other things, but I think now these next 2 weeks I should have a little bit more time, so excited for that. But we're going to have a near mirror match for the first game today, just a Groudon and a Venusaur instead of the Toxicroak and the Kyogre. So pretty interesting to see this become a core, like the Stakataka, Yveltal, Lele, and Incineroar combination. Now I haven't played any games with this team, so I am kind of just YOLOing it right now, but this should be really interesting. Now, fun fact, actually, Angel Miranda used Groudon and Venusaur, and both Justins actually played Angel throughout the top cut of that tournament. So, I'm trying to remember exactly what they led. I know Groudon and Venusaur can be kind of an annoying lead, so something to counteract that could be like Yveltal and Incineroar. I actually like that a lot, I think. Overall, I think it's quite good against anything my opponent can lead, actually. Yveltal and Incineroar. I like Kyogre here as a potential way to just clean things up, definitely. Who do I want as the last one? Toxicroak is actually kind of tempting here, but it kind of gets obliterated by the Lele. The Stakataka could be interesting, especially because it fares decently well against Lele, which I think could actually cause me some problems. So, you know what? I'm actually going to bring Stakataka and see how it goes. So, yeah, with no experience with this team, I honestly have no idea how it'll go, but the team itself is clearly really strong. So, something that I always tell newer players is, like, if you're getting into it and you feel like your teams aren't working out, just try a team that's really good, because then at least you've got the team building aspect out the way, and you can kind of fix your problems with play. But, yeah, we're going to get into it. It's going to be Yveltal and Lele, and as always, if you guys enjoy Road Train, please share support by leaving a like in the video. I'd really appreciate it, and I haven't been able to post daily, but I'll do my best to at least get back to a little bit more consistent pace. I think nowadays, these next couple of days, I shouldn't be too busy. So I know that this Yveltal is max speed, so my opponent, Aura going off first, confirms that it is max speed as well. The Lele here is not going to be Choice Scarfed, and Intimidate will go off. The most tempting play here turn 1 is just to protect my Yveltal and go for a knockoff onto Lele. It's relatively safe, I think. Just like obviously could get doubled up into Yveltal. Knockoff also just obliterates Lele. I'm just worried about it being Sash Lele, because the Lele on this team is actually sashed. So I think I will go for a knockoff turn 1 and protect. Worst case, Lele protects and Yveltal knockoffs my Incineroar, but the Yveltal's the one protecting, which is great. Could be a double protect here, so we'll see. If not, then I'm in a really good spot. Nice. Just a Gleam comes out from the Lele. And I know the Lele is not Scarfed either because of the way the ability is activated. So it's not going to do too much to Incineroar. Incineroar takes out like an absolute champ. Going to get rid of Lele's item. Let's see what it was. It was the Salt Vest. Okay. Which is why I couldn't protect. And this is excellent for me because now I can just knock off the Yveltal, get rid of that item, and just go for another knockoff onto the Lele slot. Super safe play here. There's really nothing my opponent can do because I know the Yveltal will outspeed the Lele because it's max speed, which I think is a really good call as well. As Yveltal's actually going to go for Oblivion Wing, which is interesting. So that's going to target down my Yveltal, and actually does a pretty good amount of damage. As it reveals that it's life orbed as well. But I will be able to get rid of its item here, which will be pretty nice. And my opponent is just going to sack the Lele here. Now, Lele honestly wasn't a big threat to my team at all, so it's not like I really needed to prioritize knocking it out, but getting rid of it is still quite nice. And now getting rid of my opponent's life orb means that Oblivion Wing is just going to do significantly less damage as well as foul plays. So, good start to the game for sure. Especially with Kyogre in the back and Psychic Terrain, it means that you can't even Sucker Punch the Kyogre, which means I can just spam Water Spout. So something like Groudon coming in here is really good news for me just because of how much offensive pressure I put now. I think this next turn, let's see what I want to do. I mean, I really could just go for like a knockoff onto the Groudon, but I'd actually prefer to get like a switch into Kyogre, ideally. So I think what I'm going to do here, it's just that, like, I mean, okay, I could just double knock off the Groudon, which is kind of tempting. I'm just thinking protecting Yveltal, but maybe it's better just to attack, actually. I think I'm actually just going to go straight for a Flare Blitz and a knockoff here, because my opponent can't, like, knock out both of my Pokemon right now. So Yveltal is going to Oblivion Wing, but that's fine. It's going to target down my Incineroar. Ideally, that activates my Berry, but that actually does, like, no damage whatsoever. Yeah, so this is fine because, like, I could have protected, but getting rid of Groudon's item would be nice. Like, Knockoff still does so much damage there. It's actually a bulkier Groudon with Figgy Berry. It actually does have Rock Slide, but I don't think that'll be knocking me out. Yeah, I survived with both. Although I actually would have not minded Incineroar going down there, but that's still fine. I do a lot of damage. If I don't flinch here, Flare Blitz might just knock out my opponent's Yveltal. And I don't flinch, which is nice. So that's a super good turn here. I didn't think my opponent honestly had too many options. Flare Blitz actually will fall short though, but we'll get a burn on Yveltal, which is kind of nice. Don't honestly think it matters too much, but we'll take those. This next turn, I think I'm definitely just going to protect the Yveltal here and sack the Incineroar. I'll go for a U-turn in case my opponent lets me get it, but that way I get the free switching into Kyogre, and then I can just start clicking Water Spout. A lot of what this team does is basically set up Kyogre. You know, knock out and chip everything, especially the restricted mons. And Yveltal being able to get rid of items means that, you know, you can get rid of potential berries, which can be really annoying sometimes when you're playing with Kyogre. So this is a really cool team. I think there's a reason why it won the first regionals of the year, and both players that brought it, you know, did very, very well at the tournament. And I think Yveltal just in general is a really strong Pokemon. So the Oblivion Wing is going to go into my Yveltal. That's fine. Groudon here actually just going to opt for another Rock Slide. So I don't know whether that should be... Oh, that should be enough to knock me out, yeah. For some reason I thought I was higher HP. But I forgot I took that recoil damage. So this is great now, because I get to bring in Kyogre now. I just get to click Water Spout. And my opponent literally can't do anything to really prevent the damage that's coming his way right now. So regardless of who my opponent has in the back, I think I'm in a pretty darn good spot. The only question I have is whether my opponent's Yveltal has Sucker Punch, but given that I got the burn now, I don't even think Sucker Punch will knock me out. And I think Kyogre plus Stack Attacka will beat anything in the back. Yeah. Because if it's Stack Attacka, Kyogre just wins. If it's Venusaur, then Stack Attacka wins. So I think I'm in the clear here. If anything, I could just see the Groudon switching out, so I'm just going to knock off that slot. Because I'm not even worried about a Sucker Punch from Yveltal, like I mentioned. And Groudon actually will switch out. It's Venusaur coming in. So if my opponent doesn't Sucker Punch here, then I'm in the clear. And he doesn't go for it. So should be a double knockout and should be game. So yeah, I mean, the lead basically helped me out an immense amount where it's like Incineroar is really not threatened by Yveltal Lele very much. I mean, it's actually scary where it's like you could knock off and Moonblast, but even knock off Moonblast shouldn't be knocking me out. So I wasn't too worried about that, as I will get rid of the Venusaur now. And yeah, once I didn't see something like the knockoff Moonblast, then I knew that should be in the clear, especially because I knew my Yveltal was faster, so that was another free knockoff into that slot. My opponent's Yveltal didn't threaten my Yveltal very much, and then getting rid of my opponent's item meant that the damage output was significantly reduced as well. So yeah. It's a game that we didn't really need Toxicroak or the Lele in, or even Stack Attacka, but yeah, these three really put in a lot of work. And I think Incineroar Yveltal was a very safe lead against pretty much anything that my opponent could bring, so we'll get a win for the first game today. And once again, credits to the Justins for creating this team, especially Justin Crubaugh, who I think told me he created like 5 of the 6 Pokemon, or at least like, yeah, I think he created the team from scratch and made the entire core and built most of the team. And then I think Justin Burns made one suggestion. I want to say, if I remember from my DMs correctly, like he put Lele onto the team. But either way, super, super cool team. And yeah, once again, give them a follow in the description below because they are two of the best players in America. Very consistent throughout the last couple of seasons or so. And you'll definitely see them on the streams in the upcoming tournaments. So yeah. Going to find Atomic Blonde for our second opponent of the day from Texas with a rating of 1624. Running an Yveltal Xerneas team, but once again, Stakataka, like 4 of the 6 same Pokemon. So it's kind of interesting to see that in our first episode with this is becoming a really common core already. I don't think I'll play with this team too long just because I would like to feature some of my own teams soon, but I did want to give this team a try because obviously the Justins piloted it to immense success, and this is going to be a team that you'll be seeing around for a while now. So just wanted to get that there. This is interesting now. My opponent does have the Xerneas, which is quite scary. I think Stakataka is quite good here. Ludi is quite scary as well. Something like Ludi Yveltal could be a scary lead against me. Now Lele is actually tempting here as a lead. I block Fake Outs, which is nice. The Xerneas is just my main concern. If Xerneas sets up, like I need to get Stakataka out and get Trick Room up. So I'm actually even thinking of something like Incineroar and Stakataka as a lead here. Maybe I just go Trick Room. Incineroar, Stakataka, Yveltal Ogre. I don't know if I'm approaching this correctly. But honestly, nothing threatens my stack that much. Yeah. This really could have been a game for Toxicroak though, so maybe I should have brought it. The more I think about it, the more I think Toxicroak was really good here. I get the Poison Jab against Ludi, the Low Kick against Stakataka, Poison Jab against Lele as well, though. I think Lele was obviously the main reason I was kind of scared of bringing it, so we'll see. Pretty interesting team, though. Yeah, was not expecting to face like the same core twice. Me, Xerneas and Ludi, though, which I actually think is ideal here for me, because turn 1 I just threaten with Fake Out Trick Room. So you pretty much have to fake out the Stakataka, but then I just get the fake out onto the Xerneas. Yeah. And then the next turn, like the following turn becomes a little bit more interesting then. Yeah, I definitely fake out Xerneas and Trick Room here. Like, the thing with going Yveltal as a lead here is that if it's max speed Xerneas, then it's a speed tie, and that's really not good. In best of 1, I think it's not worth to leave the Yveltal. Especially because you could just fake out my Yveltal. And then, yeah, we're risking basically speed ties. And then any other combination, like leading Kyogre means that the Ludi's speed would be activated, so I didn't want to lead with either restricted Pokemon, so then it's like, okay, what combination of non-restricted Pokemon can I go for? Fake Out's actually going to go into Incineroar, though, which is so interesting because, oh, that's so cheesy. Okay. Focus Blast Xerneas. I mean, it works 70% of the time. If you're running Focus Blast, I gotta think like that's like Spexed. But or it's non-Specs. It's still like Geomancy Xerneas. Yeah, it's kind of annoying because my opponent misses that. Like, I pretty much just win the game from there. But yeah, that was my opponent's best play when you look at the odds. So yeah, I mean, obviously, props to my opponent. Now the question is, I'm expecting it to be choiced because it had Focus Blast. So if it's not, then good lord save me. I need to knock out Ludi. I need to knock off the Ludi here. It's just like, I don't want to switch into Kyogre, because if I knock out Ludi, then maybe I can still just win the game with Kyogre and Yveltal. But if this is Geomancy Xerneas with Focus Blast, then I'm kind of screwed here. So I'm going to U-turn the Xerneas and just knock off Ludi. And I'm making this play assuming that Xerneas is choiced, but Ludi does make the smart play of switching out into Yveltal. Okay. So let's see if this Xerneas is indeed choiced or not. I could have knocked out that slot too, but it looks like, yeah, he is choiced. Max speed, locked into Focus Blast. So he does miss the Focus Blast, which does give me a chance to get back into this, as that's Psychic Seed Yveltal as well, which is interesting. Curious whether Yveltal actually has Sucker Punch or not now, because of the fact that my opponent does have Lele on the team, although this team does have Lele as well, obviously. The only downside is that I didn't knock out the Ludi, and now that I activate the Rain for my opponent, which is quite bad. But this will be interesting now. Yeah, okay. I'm going to knock out the Xerneas slot for sure. I think my opponent should just sack the Xerneas here. Yeah, I think I'm just going to Water Spout and knock off. Yveltal does actually have Sucker Punch though. Okay. Yeah. I was hoping it didn't. Especially with Psychic Seed, I was thinking it'd be like maybe a bulkier variant without it, but alas, it did have it. So I will get rid of Xerneas' Specs here. Yep, that's Specs Xerneas. And he's going to Focus Blast. It is going to connect this time. I do survive though. I'm in a really tricky spot. I think I'm going to go out into Ensign here. And Sucker Punch the Xerneas, which should knock it out. Yeah. Basically, I can win the game still. I just need Yveltal to stay alive and knock out my opponent's Ludi. So by switching an Ensign here, if I knock out Xerneas, then Ludi comes in. Then you can either fake out Xerneas and I can get a lock off, or you fake out the Incineroar and like knock off from the Yveltal should knock out the Ludi. Okay, yeah, I need to knock out Xerneas here because I got rid of its item and I don't want it to Dazzling Gleam because that's the heavy hitter against me. And he's going to probably knock off into Yveltal. Yeah. That's okay. Getting rid of Black Glasses is unfortunate, but that's still fine. Yeah, I could have scalded, I guess, with Kyogre, but without Origin Pulse, my life was a little bit trickier. So this next turn is interesting now. Like, who do you target if you're Ludicolo? Because I could fake out the Ludi, right? But what if the Ludi just fakes out Yveltal? If I'm my opponent, I feel like I'm attacking here with Ludi, honestly. Rain is also expiring soon. My opponent shouldn't be able to knock out Yveltal with Ludi. I want to knock off. I want to double knock off here, actually, yeah. I don't think Ludi's going to protect here. Or, sorry, fake out here. But he actually goes for it. But that's actually what I want to see. Because with that fake out now, I get a knockoff, and that knockoff means that Ludi's in Sucker Punch KO range. And Tailwind's fine here. I don't mind Tailwind. Yeah, because my opponent's Yveltal is not hitting my Yveltal for very much damage right now. Yeah, that definitely should be in Sucker Punch KO range now. And it looks like it's a bulkier variant with AV as well. The only scary thing here is if my opponent does have Lele in the back and switches into Lele. That's the one scary thing. If my opponent doesn't have Lele, though, I am in the clear. But, like, I'm thinking it's instant in the back. But if it's Lele, I want to protect Yveltal here, I think, and U-turn out. If it's Lele, I think I might just be screwed either way. I'm going to Sucker Punch U-turn here. Let's see if it's Lele or not. Yveltal switching out, so it probably is. Yeah, okay. Good play. I should have... I mean, okay, if I knew that that was switching into Lele, then the best play is to knock off the Lele. But I should survive a Scald, I think. Yeah. So that's actually still fine, I think. I'm going to U-turn out. It's actually going to be a really close finish to this game. It would just, yeah, I mean, I don't think knockoff without the black glasses knocks out the Lele, but it would still do a ton. Actually, maybe it does knock out. The main thing is stalling out this Tailwind right now. Yeah, I think I needed to just risk it and go for the knockoff there. Because, like, the Scald isn't knocking out either Pokemon there either way, so it's better just to go for the guaranteed knockout and the knockoff onto the Yveltal slot. Now this is interesting because I can Sucker Punch my opponent's Yveltal. I know it's Psychic Seed, so I know it does have Protect, and there are 2 turns of Tailwind. I have not protected Yveltal yet. Rain is also expired. Because if I'm my opponent, I'm thinking maybe protect the Yveltal and Moonblast my Yveltal. So one play I could make actually is protecting... Yeah, I'm actually going to switch back out into Instant and protect Yveltal here. I can win this game if I force a 2v1 basically. And if the Yveltal protects this turn, then... like, Instant is in a potential spot just to knock it out next turn. The only way this doesn't work is if my opponent Moonblasts the Instant slot, or doubles up into Instant. It doesn't look like the Yveltal's protecting, though. Just kind of annoying because I could have Sucker Punched it. But he was actually going for the Sucker Punch, which is smart. Okay. Yeah. Kind of wonder who that Sucker Punch was targeting, honestly. Oh man, this is so intense. Still 3 turns of terrain. This is where if I had Origin Pulse, maybe my life would be a little bit easier. I want to knock off the Instant, or the Yveltal here, and switch out into Kyogre. Actually, okay, if Yveltal protects here, that's the concern, right? So it's going to protect, or it's going to go for a Sucker Punch. If it attacks, then it gets screwed. And this way I pave the way for Kyogre to come in. I don't know if I agree with that. I don't know who's more important right now. I think my Yveltal is more important, so I should have actually switched my Yveltal out. Oh, but he's actually gonna let me get the Sucker Punch off. Oh, that's exactly what I was hoping for. That's why I stayed in. But I don't think that was the most optimal play. I'll think about it a little bit, but I think now I should have the game won. That was intense. Yeah, because I'll lose Yveltal here, but then I get a knockoff against Lele, and now it's 2v1, which is the situation I was hoping to force myself in. Yeah, I mean, what I was thinking there was, like, if you're my opponent, you should Sucker Punch to avoid my Sucker Punch, as it slash Lele, so... Yeah, a lot of people drawing inspiration from this team core. But I was thinking, okay, you're either going to be sashed... Sorry, not sashed. You're either going to Sucker Punch me to avoid my Sucker Punch, or you're going to protect. Either are pretty bad. The only way that works is if my opponent doesn't go for either, but that actually ended up being the case, which I was surprised by, but we take those. Now Kyogre just scalds and wins. Let's say Yveltal protects there, though. I would get the knockoff against Lele. I guess the scary thing is if the Yveltal Sucker Punches, because then it could protect the next turn, and then it's a 50-50 on who I target with Kyogre. So yeah, at worst I think it was a 50-50. Because let's say the opponent's Yveltal Sucker Punches and Lele knocks out my Yveltal. Then I get the knockoff against Lele, I bring in Kyogre, and then I have to call who's protecting there between Yveltal and Lele. If I call it correctly, I win. And if Yveltal just goes for a regular attack like it did, then I win the game instantly. If it goes for a protect, then I get to switch in Kyogre, and my opponent needs a double protect, otherwise I win. So, pretty decent odds there ultimately, actually. But we do get another win, and this team is very, very good. I think it says something that I haven't really played much with the team, but it's really carried me so far. And this, it like plays around the Yveltal so nicely. It's cool to see such a strong Yveltal team right at the beginning of the year. Really interesting team for the next one, though. Mewtwo, Groudon with Clef, Suicune, Instant, and Lele. So today's been Lele galore. It's just popping up everywhere. Mewtwo is really interesting. I don't like Toxicroak once again just because there's another Lele. My own Lele is actually kind of tempting here. Just for solid damage output across the board. Stack is actually tempting here. But I feel like I kind of... Like, I want Yveltal Kyogre for sure. And I want Incineroar mainly for... Like, actually, Incineroar is too good to pass down here, I think. So maybe I don't bring Lele. Let's think. I like Incin Lele. It's just the Suicune that scares me because it can Trick Room. My DS is also running on red, so I should get my charger. But let me get it after team preview. This is so tricky because I'm thinking maybe my opponent goes for the Tailwind route now with Suicune. I'm gonna go Lele, Instinct, Kyogre, Yveltal, but I don't think that prevents Tailwind hard enough, so I don't think that's the best combo. I just needed my charger. Mewtwo is also an interesting restricted mon. We've seen it occasionally throughout the years. Actually got 20 in 2010. It got top 8 at the World Championships on Hui Ha's team, in what's probably still my favorite VGC team of all time. And that was like a Trick Room bulky variant, and yeah, it was a really cool pick. It's gonna be Lele Mewtwo though, which I actually think is quite good, mainly because of my Incineroar slot. Okay. So Lele is scarfed on my opponent's end. I'm worried about Focus Blasts coming out again. It's quite a safe play here just to protect my Lele and knock off Mewtwo. I kind of like that, honestly. Yeah. I think Mewtwo's probably going to be sashed here, but if it's not, it's in trouble. I could get doubled up into Incineroar with, like, Focus Blasts. Or Moonblast Focus Blast. Aura Sphere. Okay, I didn't know it got that. That probably KOs me, right? Oh, nice. Whew, that's clutch. Big survival there. I should know that Mewtwo gets Aura Sphere, though. That's, like, kind of bad that I didn't. Either way, though, I get the knockout. So that's a big knockout immediately. Oh, what? That doesn't knock out? Alright, I gotta say I wasn't expecting that, but okay. The goal is definitely to knock off my opponent's Lele right now so that everything's in Water Spout KO range. So I'm just gonna Moonblast. I'm gonna Moonblast Lele, actually, yeah. And knock off Lele. Mewtwo's not really a threat to me because of Kyogre. And if I survive an Aura Sphere, that would be clutch. It's gonna be close. Can I survive? Nice. And yeah, that's definitely a bulkier Mewtwo, given that it took a knockoff from Incineroar. So now I actually just get the outright knockout onto Lele, which is even better. Sweet. Okay. That's pretty good. That's a decent start for me. Obviously, I could have not protected Lele turn 1 in attack, but I'll still take it. Especially because Kyogre just beats Groudon outright in the back. And I've still got my restricted mon, and my opponent's Mewtwo is really low. And I know that nothing can be scarfed in the back, too. So it's... Yeah, and like with Clef being my opponent's support Pokemon, like Kyogre Water Spout spam just completely obliterates everything right now. So I think I'm just going to play it safe here and just protect Lele and go for a knockoff onto the Clef. Clef is not going to be able to really do damage here, right? So it's like you're relying on Mewtwo, but then as soon as you knock out either of my Pokemon, Kyogre comes in and just clicks Water Spout. So Clef's going to follow me, but that's fine. I mean, it really has to. And even if the Aura Sphere goes into Instant, that's totally okay. It's actually going to be Psy Strike into Lele, which is even better. So now I get rid of the Eviolite. So once again, I'm setting myself up for Kyogre to sweep, basically. So now I'm just going to Psychic, and I guess if anything, actually just... I don't want to Flare Blitz because that would knock myself out. So I'm going to Psychic and U-turn. Clef is more or less forced to follow me again. You probably knock out the Lele. I'm fine sacking Lele because it means Kyogre comes in for free, and now I just click Water Spout. So yeah, this is kind of the downside with Mewtwo, although Psy Strike's animation is really cool. Where, like, Clef and Mewtwo, it's great, but you can only knock out one Pokemon at a time, and I already chunked Mewtwo down so much that, like, Friend Guard's really not doing anything. And now I get a double switch into Kyogre and Yveltal, which should win me the game with the positioning, because, like, Clef doesn't have its Eviolite, so it's going to just get knocked out. Water Spout will knock out Mewtwo, like, that's obviously not an issue. The only scary thing is if, like, Clef had Heal Pulse and went for it here, but it kind of needed to follow me so that Mewtwo didn't get knocked out. And with Groudon being my opponent's last one, like, sure, you can switch in Groudon, but, you know, what does that really do? Like, Water Spout's still going to do, like, at least 50% to it easily, even with Friend Guard up. So the play here is definitely to just knock off the Mewtwo and Water Spout, because Water Spout in rain will knock out Clef. If Clef switches into Groudon, then Water Spout still knocks out Mewtwo, and Groudon takes a ton of damage, and then the knockoff gets redirected and targets down the Groudon slot. If, you know, Mewtwo protects, Clef just gets knocked out. If Clef protects, Mewtwo gets knocked out. I think that's what my opponent has to go for. You protect the Clef so you at least get Groudon in safely and it doesn't take any damage, but then even so afterwards, Water Spout should still... Actually, all I need to do is switch Kyogre out and back in, and then I win the game. So think this game is pretty much wrapped up at this point. There's really nothing my opponent can do, I think. So, pretty scary combination. Lele and Mewtwo hits really hard, but we're not actually going to even see any Protect switch outs or Follow Me's, so getting rid of the Clef means that Water Splash just obliterates it. And, yeah, that's going to be game. So, knockoff, doesn't matter. Should be Groudon as the last one. And we should be good. Yeah, once again, I think the leads have really been a huge role in today's victories. All of them, it felt like I had the slight advantage. This one was scary, where if Aura Sphere actually knocked out my Incineroar either time, I would have been in a lot of trouble, but fortunately, this Incineroar is a beast, and that was not something I had to be worried about. So, yeah, could switch out, but it doesn't matter. It's going to get knocked out here anyway. I know Groudon's not Scarfed, so it's not going to be faster than me. So, yeah, save you guys an extra turn of play, and Water Spout actually almost knocks out Groudon all right. I was thinking maybe I actually had a Berry there. I would just add, a turn to the game, but it does not. And it actually had Soft Sand, which is interesting. It's kind of a cool item pick. You don't see that too often, but actually it does make some sense to boost Precipice Blades. So, yeah, first 3 games with this team, and we get 3 wins immediately. And once again, I think that's a testament to how darn good this team is. So thank you once again to Justin Crubaugh, a.k.a. iMagikarp, and Justin Burns, a.k.a. Sporific. Both Twitters linked in the description below. They are coming out with the team report, so you guys can try this team out yourself pretty darn soon. Justin Burns did put the moves out, just without the EV spreads. I'll link that in the description below as well if you want to try it out and maybe make your own spreads. We didn't get to feature Toxicroak today, unfortunately, but these games were really not for Toxicroak when there's a Lele and a Groudon on every team. Either way, though, we managed to survive the onslaught of Spec Xerneas and Life Orb Mewtwo, bulky Life Orb Mewtwo, and we do get a couple of nice wins today as we climb up. So, yeah. Thank you once again to the Justins for creating, especially Justin Crubaugh, who was the main creator of the team. He traded over a bunch of the Pokemon over to me as well, so thank you for that. And I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If you did, please show your support by leaving a like. Go check the Justins out in the description below, and I'll catch you guys next time. All right.